During the last few weeks, you've no doubt heard that you're about to meet the Baron, and that's what we're going to do right now, because here is the Baron, Steve Forrest. Steve, can you tell us something about the character of the Baron? What sort of man is he?
Well, I think the Baron is a man with a lot of heart, to start off with, for a man who's involved in a great deal of adventure and excitement, week by week. It's based on a series of stories by Jake P. Creasy called The Baron. Mm-hmm. However, as an American, our background for it is the Baron's original involvement with the Arts Reclamation Commission after the war, reclaiming stolen works of art, stolen by the Nazis after the war. And during his time in the American Army, he met several people in the British Army. One of these turns out later to be a man from the British Diplomatic Intelligence, this part played by Colin Gordon, a character called Templeton Green. This gives us a springboard for many of our stories. One in particular involves a ring of international thieves who are stealing art objects and getting them out of Britain through the diplomatic pouch, this particular segment called Diplomatic Immunity. Colin figures rather largely in that one.
The Baron nowadays is an antique dealer who settles in London, does he?
That's correct. He has shops in London, and in Paris, and in Washington. The majority of our stories, however, center in London.
But you do get around a bit.
That's quite correct. That's quite correct. On the continent, as in the story I mentioned, and there's one story in Rome also involving the theft of art objects from the Vatican, no less.
The Baron is a lone operator, isn't he? He isn't employed by any government or anything like this.
No, he's on his own, but the particular thing about the Baron is that he has friends in many walks of life, and it's through these contacts that he's able to circulate. He even has friends in the underworld. This in particular is figures in one story.
Fine, yeah. Now, the thing that I'm interested about the character of the Baron is that he's described as a man who likes people and likes helping people. Is this true?
Yes, he likes helping people. He likes helping people, but he's also in the business for money. He's not avaricious necessarily, but he's not your conventional hero, and he's not quite an anti-hero. But he's involved in a lot of romantic escapades. But I would classify it more as straight adventure, lots of action, and I think plenty of excitement.
I know the lady viewers will want to know, what is the Baron's attitude to women?
He likes women very much.
And treats them like a gentleman?
If they deserve that, I think, yes.
Well, Steve Forrest, thank you very much indeed, and we're looking forward to the series a lot.
Thank you.
Okay. Marker, 4 take 2. Action.
Steve, can you tell us something about this character, the Baron? What sort of man is he?
Well, the Baron is a man with, first of all, with antique shops in Paris, London, and Washington. He's a character who's involved in a great deal of adventure and intrigue, always springing out of the sale of antiques, the theft of antiques, the misuse of antiques for one reason or another. He's a character with some heart, I would say. He likes people, and sometimes he's a little bit of a knight on a white charger, I would say. But he's in the business for profit, and he makes a profit.
So he's not really an angel?
No, he's not an angel. No, not at all.
Now, the fact that he has businesses in Paris and Washington and all over the place, does this mean that we're going to be getting around the world in each episode?
Quite a lot. As a matter of fact, one episode involves the theft by an international ring of thieves who are taking art objects from England and taking them out of the country via the diplomatic pouch. This takes us to, I think, Hungary. There's one story behind the Iron Curtain. One takes us to Rome. As an American, the Baron is an American in this series. He's a man who got involved with antiques via his work during the war with the Arts Reclamation Commission. that is retrieving stolen works of art, works stolen by the Nazis, and is cached in various places all over Europe. And during this period of time, he made certain contacts with an Englishman who turns out to be later with the diplomatic intelligence, as we call it. This character is called Templeton Green in the series. I'm also sent on missions by Templeton Green, and occasionally Templeton Green does favors for me as the Baron. In other words, the Baron has contacts in many places, in the higher strata of society and also in the underworld. Not to speak, not to ignore also the ladies, let's say.
Is this going to interview? This is going to interest all our lady viewers, I'm sure. What is the Baron's attitude to all the glamorous women in his life?
Well, he likes women. He likes women very much.
Does he treat them well?
Yes, he treats them very well when they deserve to be, which is most of the time, I think.
He sounds a fascinating character.
I think he is. It's been a very interesting character for me to play.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing the series very much indeed, and if you're enjoying it, that's obviously a great deal to its value.
Thank you
very much, Steve.
Okay, yeah.
So, between those two...
That one there, start. Yeah, ready? Ready?
You just want to do these questions?
Yeah.
You want me to respond to them?
No, sorry, just do it.
Five, take one, darling, is it? Got it at the minute. Yeah, okay.
Roll it. Speed. Market.
5, take 1.
Steve, can you tell us something about the character of the Baron? What sort of man is he? The Baron's described as an antique dealer who settles in London, is this right? But you do get around a bit. Is the Baron a lone operator, or is he employed by any government or anything like that? Now, what interests me about the character of the Baron is that he's described as a man who likes people and likes helping people. Well, I know our lady viewers will be very interested. How does the Baron feel about women? But he treats them like a gentleman. And that's it.
Cut. Speed. Target.
5, take 2.
The Baron's a pretty aristocratic title, but is he in fact a real Baron?
Right. Cut. Ready? Market.
6, take 1.
Well, if you're one of the millions of people who've already become ardent fans of the Baron, you'll be as delighted as I am to meet the Baron in person, Steve Forrest.
Cut.
7, take 1.
What do we say?
Well, Steve, first of all, congratulations on the enormous success of the series.
Thank you very much.
You look all the time as if you're enjoying it. Are you in fact enjoying it?
Well, indeed I am. I arrived in England the very first part of July, and after just a couple of weeks to look at scripts and so on, we started production. And I've been working very steadily ever since.
Does this mean you haven't had a chance to see much of England yet?
It means I've had no chance at all to see England. As a matter of fact, I have a feeling that some of my friends from America who've been over here are going to come back, or when I come back, they're going to say to me, did you see such and such, or did you see the Tower, or did you see Hampton Court Maze or something? And I'm going to say, no, they've only been here 7 days, and will have been here a year by that time.
Steve, a lot of actors worry a great deal about appearing in a television series because it types them. But this obviously doesn't worry you.
Well, I don't feel that that particular situation would apply to the Baron. The Baron is a series, consists of a series of dramatic situations. And while, of course, the title of the series is The Baron, he's not actually a Baron, and there's no particular configuration of facets that he has. In other words, it's not light comedy all the time. 2, it's not drama all the time. He does many, many things, and I think that the breadth of the character that I'm playing would suggest almost any role you could think of, perhaps excluding Shakespearean roles.
Well, in Hollywood, you played a lot of very heavy parts. The Baron must be quite a change for you.
That's true. I played a lot of heavies, and the Baron is not a heavy, although he can be heavy on occasions in dealing with heavies. I think this is one of the things that's interesting about the character. He's not a straight hero, not by any means, and he doesn't meet every situation with a smile.
Well, now, what's the difference? This is the million-dollar question. What's the difference between working in England, in English studios, and American studios?
Well, there really is very little at all. I think that one of the things I've always noticed about screen work, motion picture work, is that, for example, the type of person who is a script girl in America, quite frequently that same type of person will be a script girl in Rome or in England. I think that the type of people involved are very much the same, and incidentally, they're marvelous. We have a wonderful crew on the show, a very hard-working crew, mind you.
It's a very diplomatic answer. Are you going to be just as diplomatic about our weather?
I don't know how to be diplomatic about the weather. I find the weather surprising.
Worse or better?
Continually surprising. But being from Texas, I shouldn't. But you see, I left Texas in 1946. And in Texas, we have the same strong sense of diurnal change that you have here in England. There's a definite summer, winter, fall, and so on. In California, we don't have that. It's fairly dull, sunshine all the time, and smog.
Steve, have you got your family with you over here?
Yes, I do. We live very close to the studio, which is a necessity for me. And
Do they enjoy English life?
very much. I don't think I'll ever get my boys back to the United States. They have their hair long. Don't put that in. Edit that.
Well, Steve, anyway, thank you very much indeed for talking to us, and thanks once again for coming along, and congratulations on a great success.
Thank you very much.
Cut.
Great, fine.